It's just coming up to 6 o'clock, and I've just woken up, looking probably very tired. So it's just gone 6:30, and this is the first bus I'm getting today, which is the U1C. So it's just coming up to 7:20. We're in Southampton city centre, as you can tell from the clock, and we're waiting for that bus over there, the number 7, which is our second bus of the day. So this is the quaint little village of Swanmore, and I'm going to be getting the number 17 bus from here to a bus stop near the site. So I've arrived at the road in the middle of nowhere. You can see the sign is leading to Soberton. We'll be following that road down to the study site. It's just coming up to 8:20 and I've arrived at the site. Once I've arrived at the site, there are two things that I do. First, I check the number of cattle that are in the herd. There are 35 bullocks here, and it's very important for the farmer Danny to know that they're all here. I will contact him if any of the bullocks are missing. It's also important to set up my camp, if you like. It's very likely I'll have to move throughout the day, but as you can see by standing here, I have a very good view of the cattle without interfering at all in their behaviour. Once I'm sat down and ready to begin my observations, this is my view. I have my phone to record the time. I have a pair of binoculars just in case the cattle get out of range and it's difficult to see what they're doing. Obviously a pen and the standardised table. I simply record in this column their behaviour and their location. T in this instance stands for terrestrial, which means the animals are in the terrestrial environment, and the G at the top of the column symbolises them grazing. So for this time period they have been grazing in the terrestrial environment. It's just coming up to 12:30 and this is the middle of my day, and as you can see, been collecting data on the watch there, just over 3.5 hours, or just coming up to 3.5 hours, and I've got another 3.5 hours to go. We're well over 500 metres away from the nearest Tesco Express, and I don't have any Wi-Fi, so it's important that when I come into the field I have provisions. Today's lunch, one of the sandwiches I've already eaten, and also some pasta, and then I've got waterproof trousers, a waterproof jacket, the case for the binoculars, and of course my camera case, and I'm wearing my wellies at the moment, but I've got a change of footwear as well, and that's pretty much everything I need to get me through the day. So it's just coming up to 4 o'clock and I've been observing the cattle now for, let's have a little look here, just coming up to 7 hours, and I'll be shortly leaving the site to get the bus back to Southampton, and this is the position of the cattle. Today is a Thursday, and Wednesdays is my days for meeting, and I had two very important meetings yesterday. One was 30 minutes and the one following it was 40 minutes, and as a consequence of the 40-minute meeting I actually incurred quite severe calf strain, so I am going to have to give myself a little bit more time this evening as I walk back to the bus stop. So we're back in Swanmore, and as you've probably guessed, it's 5 o'clock. Here comes the bus. Yay, bus. Woo, we love bus. I'm now on the bus. I Okay, so it's coming up to 6:45 and I've just arrived home. I'm going to have a shower, grab some food to eat, and then it's data entry. So it's just coming up to 8 PM in the evening and I'm ready to do my data entry, which basically involves putting all of this lovely stuff into an Excel spreadsheet. And to help me with that, I have to have a little bit of music, and this particular tune is called Nutty Violins. If you haven't heard it, do recommend check out Stimpy and Scruffus on YouTube, because they're definitely the way forward if you've got to go through 2 hours of monotonous data entry. This is the basic data entry table that we use for the behavioural research, and obviously you can see you've got your different input variables, and in total we're going to accumulate around 3,000 separate pieces of data per day, and that ends up looking something like this. Here's one I made earlier, and we can see for the entire day of recording all the way from 8:30 down until the time which we usually finish, which is around 4:30. We've got all this lovely data. And we also take the herd activity data, which basically looks at the entire herd of cattle and tells you how many animals within the herd are either resting or just standing. And with all this you can create pretty nifty pivot tables, and these are very simple. They just compare two variables. So if you want to figure out, for example, how many cattle, or rather for how long cattle have been drinking in a particular location, so say drinking in the terrestrial environment, you can just come across here and we can see in this particular day none, but this is a very useful way of just looking at your data very simply. And the other thing we do, of course, is generate some output, which for example might look like this, and this is just bar charts, cumulative bar charts showing every single day that we've done observations and showing how many minutes per day were spent doing different activities, so grazing, resting, moving, standing, drinking and urinating. And this is really the one of the final stages of the actual fieldwork day, and it's very important to come back and actually get on with this kind of thing. Don't want data accumulating and then having to process it at a later date. Far better to get all of this done in one day. And that, in short, is the data entry phase. So it's just coming up to 11 o'clock and I've just finished data entry. I've made sandwiches and pasta for tomorrow and packed my bag. Just need to go to bed now, get ready to get up at 6 tomorrow and start all over again. And that's the day in the life of a PhD student. Good night.